Boogeyman, yeah. I remember the scene because I was younger when it came out, so it was a little bit creepier. You get to in your 30s and nothing just seems that scary anymore. It's like I go to work every day. There's nothing as scary as waking up a boring 30.
My anxiety is scarier than any fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the shit I think and the shit that happens in my life
I'm
seems
more worried
way...
about my thoughts.
Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
That little mumbledy. That sounded mumbly. I'm Jesse.
Stumbles out.
But anyway, welcome back to another episode of Just Weirdly Blended. How's everyone doing?
Hello.
Speak up. I can't hear you. I do that in my meetings. I'll be talking like
Forgetting they have to unmute.
No, to my tech meetings, but no one talks ever. Yeah. And so I always crack I'll say little jokes, or I'll say probably inappropriate stuff. Kind of like Michael Scott.
Never inappropriate. No.
Not as quite Michael Scott-ish, but there's sometimes I'll say stuff and I'm like, I probably should have said that.
That's what she said.
I've used that one.
So you guys are watching The Office now?
Yeah, I started watching it last night. So I'm like on episode, I don't know, 6 maybe. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we're almost done with the first season, which is 6 episodes. So it's
very easy to get through everything.
Yeah. It's like they feel 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It seems short, but it's so funny.
It is very funny.
But I think one you guys should check out, or I think at least you, and I've told you about this one, but there's a movie that's done that same way. Mm-hmm. And then they got to show What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
But they're vampires and shit.
Somebody else, I think it was my cousin's husband, has watched it and liked it a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's fucking great. That and Our Flag Means Death I highly recommend that one. That is such a good show.
Pirates.
They're pirates, but it's so funny because one guy's a pirate. He's always wanted to be a pirate, but he's like a Shakespeare theater guy.
Yeah, you were saying like,
and so he takes, he wants to live that life,
but he doesn't know how.
Yeah, it's so good, but it's actually it's a really well done like movie, and the acting's good, and it's. Once you it's funny, but then you see this story and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of a sweet show.
So that kind of takes me to a dream I had last night. So I was wearing a fedora, which is one of the old gangster hats, if you don't know.
Yeah.
And I was walking with an old putter, like a cane.
Oh, you were using a cane or putter as a cane?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just imagine me walking with a fedora and a putter as a cane.
Just all pimped out. I
guess. And so I went to a convenience store, and there were these guys outside that looked a little,
Are you
as the kids would say, sus.
They were sus.
So I walked in, and I don't know what I did there, but I walk out, and there's this girl. I think it was like a girl that I had grown up with or something, or like from my neighborhood or something like that. And she was nervous to go because she didn't trust these guys. And I was like, I'll walk you. And I had the fedora.
I got my putter.
And the putter. And I was walking really intimidatingly with it. And then the second I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck?
You want to go golfing?
People would be laughing their asses off at me if I were actually walking around like that. It would not be intimidating at all.
They would probably no.
They might think I was nuts.
So that's the intimidating factor.
They probably would think that I was absolutely insane.
They would. That'd be the intimidating factor.
I was looking at them as I'm walking with my little cane.
All being a gentleman.
Cane. It was weird.
Although funny, that would actually be a sick ass cane, to be honest.
Kind of would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's normal to walk with a putter that way. It feels natural, but
because it's already
do it in an intimidating way.
It would have to actually not be a mallet putter, but
right. It's like one of the old school, because I actually have the putter that was in my dream. It was my grandfather's old putter.
It's a wood.
Maybe it was my grandfather. Maybe my grandfather's talking to me in a dream.
So it's funny you say dreams, because I just watched a movie called
Inception.
Before I Wake, right?
Oh yeah.
And basically this movie is this husband and wife lost their kid, so they want to adopt, and they adopt this kid that he's been through the system. He's younger. Mm-hmm. He's been through a bunch of foster kid parents.
Right.
But
all of them have died.
But the mom, she's having a hard time dealing with obviously her son's actual death, right? Because it was like it was sus the way he died. I think he drowned or something.
Super sus.
Spoiler alert.
Oops.
Spoiler alert. This is from 2016.
You're supposed to know.
This is an old movie.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it by now, we don't have to say spoiler alert.
Yeah, I just watched it for the first time. So
sometimes movies aren't worth.
So yeah, Alicia had a coworker kind of recommend it.
Yeah.
Little sus on that one. But the concept of the movie was great, actually. Yeah. Like, it was good. The
Scary
acting
kid
sucked, but like,
sure,
the kid was terrible. I was like,
were there any known actors in it, or was it all like B-roll actors?
Yeah, I mean, there might be some that like. So the dad, like the foster dad, looked familiar. He kind of looked like, gosh, what's the guy's name? His name escapes me now. But he played in the movie The Punisher. He's been in a lot of movies. You know him.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Don't know his name, but yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, there's a scene where she's like at a kind of like a AA meeting style, like a, what do they call that when it's not an intervention, but she's in a group therapy session,
like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, right? But it was for like a grievance grievance group kind of thing.
Oh, not alcoholic at all, just a grievance.
Grievance. I couldn't think of the word.
So no drug or substance abuse problems. Wouldn't that be a twist, though? Mom kills the kid when she's drunk on accident?
Actually, it would have been cooler.
It would have actually made more sense.
I actually thought they were going that route.
It's actually the spirit of the kid inside of this kid.
So I thought they were going that route where it was like like she murdered her kid. Like, that's what I was thinking.
And it's the spirit coming back.
But shit, vengeance. My headphones. No. Not like I need them, but
hey, yeah,
it just looks cool. No, we can hear and do stuff. Anyway, so
they serve a purpose.
They serve a purpose. In the movie, though, there's a scene where she's in this therapy group and they're kind of like sharing their stories or whatever, and she's talking about this dream she had because this kid, he can dream, and what he dreams comes to life, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so there's these he's into butterflies, so butterflies are flying around the house. He ends up asking about their son and stuff.
Oh no!
Well, lo and behold, here comes her son comes walking down the stairs, but it's just a dream of it's him physically. She can touch him.
Yes, but it's only a figment of the little boy's imagination.
Yeah, so his interpretation, and so she tells the person this, like, yeah, no, it was really him. Yeah, because no one's gonna fucking believe you.
Nancy's going a little nuts.
But he goes, I know you think it was your son, but he basically says dreams, a lot of times the things in your dreams are like, they're an interpretation of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So it's like, seeing him was actually, it's a version of herself as a young boy. I don't know.
Remember when you were a young boy, man?
But yeah, so that was kind of like the main thing. It was like, in your dream, when you dream of like something weird like that, a lot of times it's actually a reflection of who you are.
Sure, like an aspect of your personality or something you're trying to work through.
So you're trying to be your grandpa.
I've heard this. Yeah. I'm trying to be my grandpa.
Yeah, there you go.
It all circles back.
But no,
and a mobster.
So when you talk about the dream, that kind of reminded me of that movie, actually.
Right.
Because in the dream there's a monster, and so in the dream, after I heard that, I was like, okay, this is probably an interpretation of her, of either the kid, because the kid had a mom at one time. And
so hold on,
it was crazy.
So, but the monster, the mom could see and touch.
Oh no, yeah, anything this kid dreamt if he was asleep.
So if we take what the guy told her as important information for us as the audience to have, then it was something inside of her, the monster that killed her kid because she was drunk. And drown him.
Yeah. Well, she's had this kid.
What if it was just a brilliant movie?
No, it was not.
Too many things.
So because the kid lost his mom, and it was an interpretation of something else. But yeah, I was just like, okay. When he says that, then you think, oh, it's interpretation. Cheeky's like, you guys got to really pay attention to this movie because she watched it and she liked it, but I didn't like the movie, to be honest. Like, after the movie was over, I was like,
movies have to be made well.
It does, because the monster, because it was the kids, this kid always had the monster, like the dream of this monster. And this monster, it would have been scarier if they wouldn't have showed it as much and they wouldn't give it, like you say, they gave it away,
Yeah.
Because what he would do is he would actually kill you for real. Like, they would see the monster and it would it like killed a kid, right?
Yes.
And it killed the lady's husband. And there's a scene where all of a sudden she's like, release the baby, release the kids, like towards the end of the movie. I'm spoiling this.
And they're
movie.
like, well, who cares?
Well, no. And then you see this lady pop out of the cocoon of that the monster kept her in. I don't know, whatever. She comes out of the wall. It's stupid.
Okay, that's it.
Well, yeah.
Pennywise wraps the girl up in.
So it's so dumb because, and then you're like, well, where? You see the person at the end of the movie, like one of the ladies, and you're like, okay, well, where are they?
Yeah,
because they don't show it ever again.
Huh?
I'm like, wait a minute. So she tells this kid, no, you can make anything happen. So your mom is somewhere like this, or your, so-and-so, that little boy wakes up at home. And so they show a scene where this little boy wakes up back in his bed. And then I'm like, what about
in the house where he was taken from because of the trauma?
There's a scene where the little boy, he tries to keep himself awake.
You were right, because he's terrified of his dreams.
Yeah, because he knows what his dreams will do.
Which that makes him more psychotic. So when he does sleep, he's getting more crazy.
He's and he's a sweet kid. He's not like a psycho kid. Yeah, but he just knows that dream is like that monster in his dream comes all the time, and he's like, they'll take him, they'll take you. Well, he's dreaming this bully of a kid comes in the classroom because the teacher, by the way, he's in the school. The teacher's being a bitch. And she's like, well, you can just sit in here and sleep. Or you can just sit in here.
This is a real scene. This isn't in a dream.
And she turns the lights off. And me and Elise go, why the fuck is she turning the lights off on the little kid in the room by himself, in the classroom by himself? Leaves him in the classroom by himself. Turns off the fucking lights like a bitch. He falls asleep. The bully comes in. And then all of a sudden the monster
eats the bully.
Yeah, eats the bully. Well,
I thought it wasn't real, though. It was just a perception, right?
It is. But when it's a perception of his dreams come to life.
Right.
And so the monster in the dream can kill people for whatever reason.
Until the boy wakes up, then it evaporates.
It does, but the kid's gone though. Right?
The bully?
The bully's dead. Right?
Good.
Or you think
is the bully like on the floor dead or just gone?
Gone. He disappears.
That would be cooler
because
like a blood
the monster grabs him like this and then it encapsulates. He like pretty much sucks him in, in a way.
Right.
It's cheesy.
Huh.
Like I said, the concept's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the end of the movie, she's like, she says, release him because she fixes the kid, right? So
the bully kid comes back.
Well, that's what you think, but then I'm like, what about her husband? She didn't give a fuck about him. Like she tells this story to the kid. Okay, so the kid's he's gonna wake up in his bed. So and so's gonna wake up here,
and the husband doesn't come back.
The husband, he'll be with his son again. So basically, we'll let my husband, he can stay dead.
What if
I'm like, you fucking bitch, you're mean. Like you didn't even care about him.
What if
I'm telling he says like, what a bitch, dude.
The whole movie was her plot to kill her husband. All of it was based around
knew about it.
She wanted her husband.
She knew
dead.
about that foster kid.
She found that foster kid and was like, we want him to like, are you sure?
The beginning, the first 5 minutes of the movie, it really does catch you,
Yeah.
Because it starts off, it looks like one of the actors kind of looks like Bill Paxton, right?
Okay.
And he's about to kill the little boy in his sleep. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then he pulls a gun and then all of a sudden, it's dark and he shoots. But he opens the door and he shoots because he couldn't kill the kid because he's a kid,
Yeah.
And then it shows the next scene and stuff. So it starts off strong.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't.
Man.
And then it finishes not strong.
That stinks.
It was it was there, and then like I do recommend watching it because I think you will see.
I think I've watched it before. I might have fallen asleep.
It was stupid.
So I have a movie very much connected to that. I think I brought it up before, and I just found it, and I love that it's completely connected to the whole idea. This is a movie called A Deadly Adoption from 2015.
Is that the Lifetime movie you're talking about?
It's a Lifetime movie with Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell. I'm pretty sure Will Ferrell wears a fake beard in this movie. And the whole idea is they're going to adopt a baby from this girl who's pregnant. So she lives with them. But Will Ferrell's character, I think it was Will Ferrell's character, is afraid of the doc. Because you find out that that's how their kid died was... Maybe that movie was based on this Will Ferrell movie.
I don't know. I think they took some concepts because you just described what was the movie prior to that you just described about? Was it Boogeyman?
Oh yeah,
And how he like wraps people up.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what in that movie they do.
Boogeyman. Yeah, I was like, I remember the scene because I was younger when it came out, so it was a little bit creepier. You get to in your 30s and nothing just seems that scary anymore. It's like I go to work every day. There's nothing as scary as waking up a boring 30.
My anxiety is scarier than any fucking movie.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the shit I think and the shit that happens in my life.
I'm more worried about my thoughts, though.
No, seriously, like that. Like I get more anxious watching, like hearing my head than I do watching any scary movies now.
Right. Financial news makes me scared.
Yeah, looking at my bank account.
Yeah, running a debit card. That's what scares me.
Yeah, you ain't never been scared.
But yeah, like I remember the scene where there was like his mom or some lady. Like he's in that. I'm thinking of the right movie. He's in like the bedroom, right? And
for this movie?
No, for the Boogeyman movie.
Oh, okay.
You've watched it, right?
No.
Oh shit. Well, he's.
I might have.
A bedroom, and maybe I'm thinking of another movie, but he's in his bedroom, if I recall, and there's like all of a sudden an old lady there, and it's kind of like a jump scare type thing, and she's scary, and that was terrifying at the time. But then at the end of the movie, they show Boogeyman, but he's like, it's a really, really bad cartoon made by a computer.
That's how this was.
He's like getting sucked away. But it just looks stupid, and you're like, that ruined everything.
Oh, as soon as I seen the scary monster, because it was like it looks like an alien-ish, but then it looks like it's like human, but it's like alien looking because it's bald, but it looks like it has like a skeleton face.
Right.
Stupid. And as soon as I seen it, I was like, are you kidding me? That's a scary monster. And I don't know if sometimes I think too, having like these newer TVs, high def, it kind of makes things look. I know the picture quality looks really good, but it looks cheesy.
But that's where then go back old school.
Well, yeah.
Do prosthetics and don't do computer shit
because it looks too computery.
So I said it before. That's my complaint with it too. I love the It series. I'm not going to shit on the movie because it's a good movie.
Yeah,
but too much doubling down on the same thing that was done before, and like the old lady scene where Bev goes back to her childhood home.
Yeah,
great up until the point that she becomes a giant monster.
Oh God,
she looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, in the apartment.
It's not real. It's creepy when the old lady's all of a sudden like naked and like shuffles across. Like, stick with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
stick with the tension building. Make it where you can't see the old lady, and like the camera slowly is zooming in, like the old lady's getting closer to Bev, and Bev's trying to get to the door, but you get the sense that she's not going to make it in time. Stick with that kind of scare.
Something that's going to like keep you on the edge.
There is so much more. The one movie that I feel, and maybe with more like you said, like higher def TVs, it wouldn't work. But The Babadook was one horror movie that nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
I've never watched it. I hear it's good.
It is. In my opinion, it's one of the few truly cinematic. Like it's a good
I actually
movie
hear
standalone.
that.
It is a good movie, just period.
Cheeky watched that and she said that's really good.
You don't really ever get a chance to make exactly what the monster looks like. You get snippets of pieces.
That's
and so
perfect.
your brain then has to put that together. It's that simple. Humans by nature are more afraid of what we don't understand than what we do, right?
So
let the audience do the work.
Well, that's the best. Like, and we've talked about that
Listen
before.
to me. I made so many great movies.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I don't know shit about movies.
I
feel like I'd be very good at making a very shitty movie.
You could, but like this movie,
got all the equipment.
If I think it would have been a little better if they wouldn't have showed the creature, or at least
I can guarantee it,
or if they would have showed like shadows or something where you like you said, you're trying to think
do the work.
Like, what does this look like?
Figure it out. Right. Again, with it, they do the when its fate smells. Didn't need it.
Yeah,
didn't need it. The big Paul Bunyan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get that it's stuff from the Paul Bunyan thing is from the book.
Yeah.
So I get it. There's a way to do it, but you got to do it in a way where it's like,
this one
different.
Like you see why the monster looks the way it does. So I see why they kind of show it, but I still think they could have done a better job.
Yeah.
But you see why, like towards the end of the movie, you see why,
Yeah.
So I won't ruin that, but yeah, it's just don't show it.
Yeah.
Like, especially so early on in the movie. I checked out quick though.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, this ain't scary. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's meant to be a scary movie.
Sure.
And if it is,
not a very good one.
Hit the mark. That bitch sucked.
There was a movie I watched like 20 years ago. I was in college at the time, called Dead Birds. And I haven't watched it recently. The first time I watched it, it was terrifying.
Dead Birds? I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So it was like a Civil War era movie. Filmed in the Civil War. No, it's modern, but of course it was set during that time. I think it was like supposed to be right after the Civil War.
It's no talking.
There's nothing. It's just people like falling on stage. And
during the Civil War, did they have movies or was it silent films?
At most, it would have been silent films, but I think silent films came even after that.
Sorry,
I think they would have had photographs. Like they just kept. Back then, that was probably the first time they had. They had the little spinny thing with a candle inside. Yeah.
So Dead Birds.
But
Sorry,
Dead Birds. So I think it's like just immediately after the Civil War, maybe, and it's this group of bank robbers that have to hide out, and so they find this old plantation to hide out on after a robbery goes bad.
Okay.
And so they're hiding out there, and craziness ensues. And it was one of those movies where there's like a point where they go into the deep explanation, then things aren't as scary. This is kind of like, eesh. But it wasn't bad. But like I remember being so creeped out the first time I watched it because there's children in this movie.
Children are creepy. And
it was
naturally.
like the perfect build up tension, and then you just show like this itty bitty clip, and they use darkness in certain places of the face.
Perfect.
It was like, yeah, it was great.
I wish they would have done something like that.
You need to build up tension way longer than you actually show the scary thing, because the scary thing is never as intense as the tension.
Yeah, I want to say like 40 minutes, maybe less into the movie, you get to see this thing, and you're like, after I seen it, I was like,
yeah.
But even just the acting was just not that great. The little boy that was the main actor, I guess. Trash. Sorry, kid, you got to work on it.
I don't want to sleep, Mom.
I just love you guys. And then he calls her mom at the end. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. She's like, you can call me mom. He's like, I love you, Mom. I'm like, bruh, you've known her for fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's probably been a month.
But we've survived trauma together.
Yeah, the kid's going to be like traumatized for sure.
No, he's better now.
So during Christmas time, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or if I talked to someone else about this. Or if I talked to you off the podcast, but we were talking about the movie Home Alone.
Yeah.
I was with Leo.
I think we did maybe talk about it.
Yeah. His trauma.
Yeah.
The trauma he has to deal with that no one will ever know about.
No one ever thinks. Like in the moment, of course, he was in survival mode. So there was no trauma. But like after the fact, his family left him twice. Right? Twice. He was
Unless you watch
alone.
number 3, then again.
Then again, but he's a different kid. That was a mistake.
That kid sucked. That's a shitty actor too. Sorry. I would suck.
Yeah,
I'd be in the shitty actor category myself.
I would be such a good actor.
You would be so much better than me.
If I had to play a kid left at home, I would nail it. Yeah, no, he's like he survives a guy about to bite his fingers off.
Yeah.
Does anybody really think about just how freaky that is?
That's freaky.
That he's gonna bite his fingers off one at a time, and the only thing that saves him is that old guy clips him over the head.
I just think how gross.
I know.
I'm gonna gnaw your finger off,
like
one at a time.
What if he didn't and he just started sucking his finger?
Whoa! And then he's molested. It's the worst,
scariest movie.
God, we're the sticky bandits. That gives Sticky Bandits a whole. All right.
They were the Sticky Bandits.
They were in the second one.
Oh, that's right.
The first one, they were the Wet Bandits. And then he would just stick his hand in the coins.
So stupid.
With the Sticky
I love
Bandits.
those movies, though.
His hand gets stuck on the lady's butt.
Those are such good movies.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. Or he pinches the girl's butt and then blames it on them.
Yeah. Did you see, have you seen any of the mistakes in the Home Alone movie?
No.
There's one where Joe Pesci yells, Harry, I'm Harry. I'm not doing it justice, but it was very funny coming from Joe Pesci.
Oh, fuck.
Joe Pesci's great.
No, yeah.
Do you know when he was making that movie, he had a rule. They could not call him to set before 11 a.m. because he golfed every day.
Seriously?
Yeah, for real. That was
Does
in
he
his,
use kid
that was
clubs?
in his contract. He used mobster clubs, I think.
Are you fucking talking to me?
One of the funniest things I've heard about golf, by the way, Blanca, she's kind of on her second round of watching Modern Family.
Oh, okay.
So if you never watched it, it's a pretty funny show. So like I haven't watched every episode with her, but if it's on, like I'll sit and watch because I've seen the whole thing a few times.
Yeah.
And there's an episode where their son Luke works at a golf course, and the sister Haley gets a job at the golf course, and he's kind of her boss. And she's with this one old lady, like not really doing her job. She's supposed to be the cart girl, delivering alcohol. And her brother has to talk to her because he's her boss. She pulls her aside and he goes, Haley, you can't let them get sober. They'll realize this game's a total waste of time.
You need to do your job.
As a golf lover, I laughed so hard. The kid's delivery of that line, and then also just like the funny idea of we all have to be drunk to make the game make sense. It was a great line.
I get it because I love golfing and
we can't let them get sober. They'll realize it's a waste of time.
it really kind of is.
Hey, you're trying to get a little ball in a hole. It's a hard skill to have.
It is hard and it's frustrating. I've tossed a club 30 feet. I watched this video. This guy, my buddy Nick sent. I don't know if Nick or our friend Chris sent it, but it's this clip. This guy's pissed and he's snapping every one of his clubs
and then throws them all into the woods.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, you gotta have money for that.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if that stuff's.
I still play with my uncle's hand-me-down clubs. There's a lot of setup type stuff, I think.
Yeah, Nick, my buddy Nick just got new clubs, and because he's had his since he was in high school.
Yeah,
and so his wife was like, "No, go ahead and buy some."
Yeah,
he's like, "For real?"
When I get to the point, like when the kids are old enough, and I do buy some kind of membership somewhere, and Blanca is more like, "Yeah, I want you out of the house more."
Yeah,
that point, I'm going to start really playing a lot, and then
does she ever want you out of the house? Though
not much.
Yeah, my wife don't want every.
For some reason, the wives really like us around. Shane Gillis had a really funny joke. I watched his latest special a couple times actually. And he was talking about living with his girlfriend now. And he's talking about like when he's done with sex, he just wishes that she would evaporate. And he's like, oh, what? Like, okay. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. You guys are right. Playing Xbox by yourself sucks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Poof.
Oh, it's funny.
No.
That guy's funny. Watch Shane Gillis.
What was that on?
Like, Netflix.
Oh, Netflix? Yeah,
I'll have to check it out. Beautiful Dogs is the name of the special.
I'll have to check
it
out.
It's pretty.
I don't know why he reminds me more of your brother than you remind. You and your brother look alike, but
I don't know what it is about more him. In the vein of my brother, I think. But if we look back just a few generations in our family, there's a connection somewhere.
There's got to. You guys look very.
We've got a very
because he seems
familial.
Tall.
He's taller. He's he's got the like kind of weak chin. He says he's got. I won't say what he says. He just watches stand up, but he's funny. He is a funny guy.
Another movie I actually watched too is called The Creator, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was about AI taking over.
Is it about God?
No, I mean it had probably a God concept, I guess, in a sense.
Do you think God feels the way about us that we feel about AI?
Could be.
They're like God was warned. Like once you start,
you're not going
to be able to control him. He's like. Whatever. I wrote the code, and then here we are blowing each other up. It's like, fuck.
He's like, I'm about to have to like delete. Is that what the end times would be? Him deleting the code?
Just like delete. Well, according to a video I saw this morning, there's a lot of evidence that we do not live in a real world. We live in a simulation.
I've actually just seen. When I was looking for our question of the week, I actually seen that
the world's flat.
Do you think we live in a simulation? Was the question?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I kind of sometimes like that because then you'll see a bird just fluttering in midair, just sitting there, looks paused.
But then you find out the wind's blowing and it's trying really hard to fly.
It's just stuck there, especially around here.
Yeah, here it's a daily occurrence,
dude. It's been pretty fucking cold here.
Oh yeah,
yesterday was like
we were at 0 yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was
Fahrenheit.
It's not
0 Fahrenheit.
Quite as cold as was it -26 or something over there in Kansas City.
Kansas City. Come on, like you know where you live.
I actually thought Kansas City was warmer. I thought it was like
it's southern.
I thought it was more of a humid, like like they didn't get winter.
Maybe they're like us. I think they're like us, where like Tri-Cities where we live is considered desert. I think we're like technically steppe.
Well, I always just pictured it was more of a not warm climate, but they didn't get like snow and they didn't get that shit. But
if you watch,
but they get a lot of tornadoes,
the movie
don't they?
Casino,
Uh-huh.
great movie, Casino. So the Las Vegas guys go back to Kansas City to pay the boss there, like they give him money for the casino.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like very hot looking.
Yeah.
And
Anytime I've ever
but it's
seen
summertime. I think they're like
barbecues.
Yeah, barbecues.
You
They
know,
don't talk like this.
Yeah, I don't think of fucking snow and just the frigid most
But
cold.
like, can you imagine like Minnesota or something playing up there all the time?
Well, so the Buffalo Bills and the Steelers game got postponed until Monday
Because of the storm.
because of snow. They're actually hiring people to come and shovel the snow out of the stadium for like $20 an hour, something like that.
You get to hang out on the field and shovel snow.
Yeah, they get people to do it though.
I'll bet. Well,
But
how many people just want to be on the field?
Oh, that'd be sick.
You know, like for free.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't do it, but it would be cool.
Right.
I'd be like,
They must have
I don't need money
fake
that way.
turf. They've got to have fake turf on at that stadium, right? Like,
I would
if
think.
it gets that cold, how would you keep it?
But it looked like I seen a video of that area.
Yeah.
Bro, no, it looks terrible.
Yeah. No.
Snow's probably like 30 feet
Well,
deep.
it's so bad. People that want to be president were like, I don't think we're going to do our event tonight. Like, seriously, Nikki Haley and that, like, everybody was like, yeah, we'll do televised.
Well, it's pretty bad.
It's awful.
They're like telling people don't go driving and shit.
Right.
I would love to get like 10 feet of snow. Just once.
Yeah,
Just
but
to
then
see.
you have to
It'd
like
be
get
so
it off
terrible.
your roof. It's too heavy on your house.
No, so for my roof though, it'd be heated, so it wouldn't happen.
Gotcha. But in my imagination,
Around everything, 10 feet.
can you imagine that though? I remember my
No.
grandma saying that when she was a kid one time, and maybe I'm making this up, but I thought she said
Grandma's a liar.
she's a lying. No, she's a wonderful woman. She's God rest her soul. But she had said that like the snow was so high wherever she lived that like it was like a hallway that she had to walk through. Like there was one strip that was shoveled out. And it was so tall that she was like between walls.
I could believe that though, because where was she from?
When she was real young, Montana.
Oh, I could see
So
that.
yeah, right.
I mean, like here, I can't really see that here,
Yeah.
but like Montana for sure.
Yeah, I think her whole family was from Montana. She had a rough life. She was born in the Depression,
Oh, nice.
1929.
Good
she was
year.
born.
Great year to be born.
And so she ended up in an orphanage. She lived in an orphanage like her whole childhood, and then kept every time she went home to like for a visit or whatever, because apparently that was the thing. They had new kids. Like,
You know,
great.
It's crazy. I think kids nowadays, kind of changing not subjects, but like the tone. But I think kids nowadays don't. I think I don't know how to say it, but I don't think they're as strong as like even my generation or generations prior are.
And
Because
those folks that came in like the early,
they get the
century-
sniffles, and now our kids want to stay home from school and they want to do this, and it's like, no. I actually told one of my daughters like, because she's like, oh, I'm staying home. I don't feel good. I'm going to stay home. I was like, no, you're not. She's like, no, but I am. There was this argument going back and forth. She didn't stay home, but I was just like, man, I don't think you would have survived back in my day because, like, you're sick. You just go. You like deal with it. Like,
Listen,
I don't think kids.
COVID wasn't a thing until like 3 years ago.
Well, I just don't think kids can deal with the things.
No,
like they're more entitled. There's a more entitled feeling. I think the
look at
world's a little different. They're a little
everyone's
weaker.
Joke is like we're all on antidepressants or anti-anxiety. We're all like, none of us can really handle anything anymore, I guess.
Yeah,
but at the same time, there's probably less alcoholism overall.
Probably
a lot of people back in the old days, they just drank themselves to death.
Well, yeah, and I think that's part of the reason too. Is I think back in the day things were different because in the sense that it's like,
shut up.
They're able to, yeah. Like now, you got mental health, you got things we're trying to make awareness to, which is awesome,
which is great. It's good.
But yeah, back in the day, it's like you're fucked. But no, I don't think the kids today are as tough as either as I was as a kid, or even prior to me.
But imagine any of us having to live through the Depression and then World War II.
Easy.
Could we? Hold my beer. Can you imagine, though, any of us in our culture today surviving either of those two things?
Not really.
We couldn't even hold it together for 6 months of COVID.
Well, the recession was like in 2008 and all that. That was tough for people.
And that was bad.
And that's bad.
That was bad. I couldn't get a job. It sucked.
I think I was working.
I applied to Target. I graduated right when that stuff hit from college with a degree and no real work experience. I had like college work experience.
Yeah.
They didn't count that for anything.
They never do.
Target didn't call me back. I was like, I did work 2 days at a gas station. Like, I think I'd rather be jobless.
Yeah. I applied at Sears when I was younger.
Yeah.
So my very first job I ever applied for was at a Doubletree Hotel.
Oh, wow.
Right. It was in Tequila,
Ooh.
right by the mall.
Uh-huh.
It was this nice looking hotel.
Nice.
It was weird because inside, when you go inside this Doubletree, they have like trees and there's actual tree there.
There's 2 trees.
It's a tree. Yeah. There's a hammock in between them. But no, it looks almost like a motel feel. Because they're all
inside.
Inside looks
it's like the one here in Pasco. Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Right.
But I applied at that job, and one of the most professional applications I ever filled out. This is before, obviously computers and shit.
Yeah.
So I used this typewriter, right? And I typed up my application. Didn't get a fucking call back.
Right.
I was so pissed. Kids that I knew got jobs there, and I'm like, fuck you kids.
Really?
Yeah. And I thought my last name at the time would have helped, but no, that didn't help. Yeah. And then the job I always wanted.
This guy doesn't seem right. Joseph Smith.
I always wanted to work at Sears. Don't ask me why. But I wanted to work at Sears. And I applied.
You felt like there was a real future there.
Yeah, I really did. I thought my life was going somewhere. Lo and behold, if they would have hired me, they wouldn't have went bankrupt. But whatever.
Yeah, true. Sears, you fucked up
You
like
fucked up.
20, 30 years ago.
Could have had a CEO right here.
Yeah.
But I never could ever get a job there. And so, boom, Arby's came around.
Right.
We had the meats.
See, I ended up going to the school district. My mom had an inn there. She worked there as a secretary. So I ended up getting a job as a para, or like a sub para. I was in the sub pool. So they call me to different buildings every day. And then I got a para job, then went to school again for it. And now I'm a teacher.
And I think kids today, it's like for jobs, they're just kind of more picky about what they want. Like before, when I was like, I'm going off of my experience. So obviously everyone's experience is going to be different. But like me, I mean, there was jobs I'd wanted, but I fucking applied at anything. Yeah. I didn't give a fuck where I worked. As long as I was working, I wasn't dealing with whatever was going on in my life at that time. As long as I could work, I would work. It didn't matter what I did. I've done janitor, fucking fast food, telemarketing, 2 days of trying to sell fucking prints like Rembrandts and Monet, stupid shit like that. Wait, is Monet a painter? Yeah. So to like Safeways and
is how you
Monet.
it.
Yeah, Monet. Wait, no, Monet. That's the ones who make the sinks and shit, right? No, I'm just kidding. Moen, right? Isn't that the Moen?
And Delta, I think.
Delta
is another painter.
Yeah. Cola.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Kids today, I don't know.
I think they're coddled by us. I think as parents, we tend to protect our kids too long, and then they don't have, understandably, and I've kind of been there with like depression and stuff, where you get really into yourself, and it's very hard to put yourself out there and handle rejection. Now, do you think it's harder for kids these days? I think it's harder in the sense of, I think they don't have a real world that they have to live in, and
do you think like social media and that shit kind of ruined that, like gave them a false perception of what reality is? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, truly, like, I get what you're saying, because it's like all they see is amazing stuff. They don't see reality.
They don't see like the struggle. But like a lot of these YouTubers,
they don't have to deal. Like, how many kids are antisocial?
So many.
And they don't have to deal with other people. So then how do we expect them then suddenly at 18 to know how to put themselves out there and deal with other people?
So like that's kind of my worry, because Elena, she's 14 and she's not the most social kid.
Right.
She's, by 18, she's going to have to be social. But it is that scenario.
Both of my kids are going to have to work in some kind of IT. They're going to have to be programmers or something where they're just weird and sit by themselves. And Elliot wants to be a game designer. I'm like, that is perfect for you. We need to figure out everything you need to have to become a game designer, because that is right up your alley, buddy.
I'm not exactly sure what Elena wants to do. She's not sure.
I know she wants to be a scientist.
She wants to do digital art. I think she said something like that.
Yeah.
What she would be great at.
Yeah.
I think whatever the kids decide to do, they'll be great at.
She should become like a graphic artist, because you
Yeah.
can get hired for a lot of different stuff, through that.
Watch her become like a politician. She's super like
Right.
into the public eye and shit.
Right.
Like, whoa.
Shaking hands and
Yeah,
telling corny jokes,
kissing babies.
yeah.
Mm.
Getting into sexual scandals and things.
Like, what the hell?
Damn it, kid.
I didn't raise you this way. I hate politics. I'm the least political. I'm so dumb. I'm such an idiot when it comes to like the world. I have my world, right?
Yeah.
I don't look to see what's going on outside of my
gotcha.
world. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
cut back quite a
I don't
bit.
look at the news. I don't know what's going on. Like people were talking about these Stanley Cups, and I'm like, what the fuck is a Stanley Cup? And then I see it, and I'm like, okay, honestly, I had no idea what the big deal was with these cups. They're just drinking tumblers. The big issue was Starbucks and Stanley teamed up and made this cup that's like I think it was like a limited edition kind of thing. And so people, you know how people are.
So you said Stanley Cup. I was thinking a sports thing.
Well, hey,
it's like,
surprisingly,
what that is, but
yeah,
no.
I didn't know what it was either. I mean, that's how I look at it.
So
The
I
hockey,
just heard from
it's
Blanca or at work. People were talking about it. I don't give a shit.
Well, I seen someone post something, and then she
had a problem with it.
No, this girl posts this video like on Facebook. She's at work and she's just scans, and it's all these water bottles. They're Stanley water bottles, and I'm thinking, God, girls love their water jugs, right? My wife has 1,000 water containers. She just bought another one actually, and so that's all I thought. And then I seen something later on. I was like, oh, that's what it's for. But that's how dumb I am. Is I don't pay attention to anything.
Well, that's not really
my
smart
sports.
news. That's yeah.
In today's news,
Stanley has released a new cup.
their World War III's on brink, but Stanley is going to change that. But
No,
I seen the cup and I was like, I've seen those cups before. It's like, what's the big?
Listen to NPR news on the radio. That's as much as I care about. I want to hear
Bob and Tom.
In the morning I listen to Bob and Tom. In the afternoon I listen to the news just to get a snippet of what's going on in the world. That's it. I didn't know Japan had an earthquake.
Yeah, which I just seen. I guess it moved a coastline over there in Japan.
Oh,
the earthquake was able to it shows this above view of it. I didn't read into it. I just was like, oh, an earthquake. But I was just like, but it was in Japan. But I was just thinking it was like it was like from years ago or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was recent. Another Fukushima
scare
or what?
I don't know. Oh. I just heard words.
Yeah, no, I didn't look
Japan
into it. I
earthquake.
just seen the picture and I'm like, I couldn't tell the difference.
There was a time I watched way too much news, but then you get too into it. And then there's a point where you get too into it and it's not good.
Well, I think it is unhealthy. You just gotta
back off because you start forming opinions and then you get mad about those opinions.
That's
just like,
my thing with news is obviously everything's reported. It's mostly negative that you hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then when it's political, like I don't know which ones. I already know how I feel about certain things, so I just go off of that. I don't go off of, well, so and so believes this, but how do we know that's not true or how it should be? Or we don't know. We can just go based off of how we think it should be.
Yeah.
So politics, I'm like, I don't I can't even pay attention because they're going to do what they're going to do.
Well, that's the thing. I know too much about that kind of shit because of how much I used to watch.
Know too much.
I don't
about
mean
everything.
it like I actually know. I just mean I know what I think enough that I watch it, I just am going to shit on certain people and like other people. So I already know it's not going to change my mind.
Yeah. What's that? What's that lady's name? AOC.
Yeah.
AOC. I don't know what the fuck she stands for. I think she's hot. That's about it.
She's pretty.
I don't think she's actually. I wouldn't say hot. Hot's a different.
Sure.
She's pretty.
She's intellectual pretty. Although I don't know how smart she is, but
she wears glasses. She's smart.
Any people in Congress, I just don't know how smart in general they are, but
they're probably not.
No,
they're scholars. They're Harvard grads, every single one of them.
A lot of them used to be. Now it's like you either have that or crazy. It's
but yeah, I watched this movie called Deadbird. No, I'm just kidding.
With the weird kids. No. Anyway, don't watch the news. Stay happy.
Yeah. No, the news, I feel like, even when I was younger, I always felt like it was depressing.
It's nonsense. And then
I already lived this depressed life growing up.
I get why we don't just do happy shit, because my mom and dad used to, my mom, not really my dad, but my mom used to watch I think it's ABC's morning stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all happy based. And anytime they cover Hollywood like it's news, it just pisses me off. Like it makes me more angry when they do fun, happy stuff than when they just cover depressing stuff. So I'm part of the problem. I want to hear the depressing stuff. That's news. Happy shit is not news.
There's certain news that I wouldn't mind hearing, but then there's other news where it's like, come on, man, is this fucking news for real? It's like, well, I don't need to know this. I don't care what's happening.
Right.
You know?
Oh, one thing in news, Joe Coy got in trouble for making a joke about how NFL covers Taylor Swift.
He got in trouble for that?
No. Yes. Swifties were ready to cancel him over it. And like, he wasn't making fun of Taylor Swift. He was making fun of the NFL, which is, I mean, obviously,
he's making fun of the fact that it was like so.
Come on. I didn't give a shit. I was getting real tired of that. Like, NFL is for football, not for freaking celebrity gossip. Like,
because his joke was like basically, there's been more footage of that than there is of the Golden Globes.
Right. Taylor Swift was featured more on the NFL than on the Golden Globes.
Did you see the picture?
True.
Did you see her reaction to it?
Who gives a shit?
No, it was funny.
Like, truly,
she just drank or ate whatever she.
I think she had a glass of. Yeah, who cares?
Like he even said because he hosted.
Yeah,
like he would just get crickets,
Right.
And he was like, hosting's way harder than
I gotta say
than
though,
doing jokes.
If you're gonna cancel him over the fact that he didn't probably handle it the best. Because there were moments like he kind of yelled out, like, you're laughing at my jokes. The ones you're not laughing at, I didn't write. Some of that stuff, I'm like, okay, as a comedian, just take it. Take the loss and move on. Because I like Joe Coy. I've seen Joe Coy.
Yeah, I think he did in a funny way,
But he does a lot of race jokes. You know what I mean?
He's funny.
You can't do that at the Golden Globes. Ricky Gervais nailed it at the Golden Globes. He just shit on everybody. And it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, it was great.
Even Jim Gaffigan made a joke, I think. I don't know if it was this Golden Globes, but I seen one where he talks about, he says something about there's like all these pedophiles in here or something. Or it like pretty much alluded to that. And I was like,
well, look at the list of all the people from Epstein. I mean, like,
hey, Stephen Hawking was on that list.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. That's crazy.
That guy.
I didn't know that until I seen like a little video, and then I started seeing other things. It's like, look, Stephen Hawking's.
Could you imagine?
He's going to Epstein's Island, and it's a Simpsons thing, and it shows this guy in a wheelchair take off in his helicopter, becomes a helicopter, and then he grabs Lisa.
God.
And then the video ends. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Can you imagine like walking past his room on that island and just hear, oh yeah.
Dude, the Bad Friends, they do a funny skit. I'll have to show you afterwards, but it's pretty funny because Andrew Santino, he does a really good impression. Like his robot impression, like the way he talked was pretty spot on. Yeah, it was pretty spot on.
I mean, what a shitty thing though. Let's say that Stephen Hawking just went to the island and didn't know any of this shit. I mean, let's just say
the smartest man in the world didn't know it.
Yeah, that's true. Can he claim ignorance?
Well, you know what though? Sometimes people who are really fucking smart
are really stupid.
Yeah,
when it comes to
I won't ever claim I'm a book smart person, but I think I'm more street smart in a sense. You know. Right. And even then,
they claim people like Leonardo DiCaprio and like, yeah, he doesn't help himself with dating so many young people.
And he's always, that's always been his thing. So,
right.
Everyone's
like,
known.
I'm not saying anything.
But then again, like, I don't know. It's, if you're on that island, like, everyone just assumes you know what's going on. What if you're really there and you don't know what the fuck's going on?
What if he was smart enough to know, like, I'm not going to have the kids out when like other famous people are here just chilling.
So you have friends outside of here,
right?
And it's not like their lives,
right?
Like I would, if I found out like my buddy Nick, for example, was this serial killer, right?
Yeah,
I would have been shocked. I would be shocked. Like,
what?
People would be like, you knew. I hate when people think that. Like, you knew. You knew.
You had to know something.
Yeah, no, honestly, I didn't.
Yeah.
Except for that one time he held that knife to my throat.
Yeah, that one time I woke up with handcuffs on.
That one time with that butt plug in. God, what's going on there? That was a different party. Sorry.
That was weird, but
exciting, kind of. I can see why girls like those fantasies.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, you would think that through the grapevine, you might like there'd be one point where Epstein was like, hey, and then the person reacted wrong. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And like somebody would be like, hey, I was on the island.
How do you do that, though? Like, I don't know. I'll never be able to wrap my head around
I do not know
people's thought processes of like, especially with like kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's different when you're like, hey, look at this girl. She's kind of cute, or she got some big titties, or whatever. That's different when it's
normal stuff.
Like normal, like, but when it's like, how do you, like, what in your right mind is like, I got this crazy thing. So I got these kids back here, and it's like, okay, like what Hollywood person's like,
well, how do you even like bridge the right? Like what signals do you look for where you're like, oh, this guy
like and
that.
why? I don't know.
Yeah.
You got it. I know Hollywood's a sick place a lot of times, and they get
listen to Cat Williams. I only know this because of my wife. I don't listen to
so I listened to I didn't watch the interview, and he does shit on a lot of people. But the kind of thing I'm sure a lot of stuff he spoke was truth, but also there's a lot of stuff where it's like,
Cat Williams,
why are you hating on everyone?
Cat Williams has done that before. Just shit on a bunch of people.
And I get where he's coming from with like people stealing jokes.
Right.
But then there's stuff like, what's the point of saying that? Like, who cares if Steve Harvey had fake hair? Who cares?
Well,
like, he felt good about himself with that fake hair.
Everybody else. And it is kind of a bad look because he got into it with Kevin Hart, didn't he?
Yeah, him and Kevin Hart don't get along. So they still don't.
I just think there's a point where it's like you're the person causing the problem. If you're mad at everybody else and everyone else is doing fine.
I got offered these. Okay, that's great. You got offered these movies you didn't want to do.
But you turned him down because you didn't want to take it in the butt, which you're saying everybody else did.
And I think,
but that's his implications that everyone else basically allowed gay sex on their body.
Well, yeah, and he's saying that and just like it's all money. And it is money,
but they're willing to play the game. I mean, I'm not saying that they should have sex for it, but I'm saying like
if they're willing to lower their standards,
to say something. I did always find it weird that black comedians were always dressing like women. Like if you think about the amount of times movies have been based around them pretending to be a woman.
And I get that. Like
that's probably. I don't blame him for not lowering to that standard.
Some of the stuff he said, I can see, and I wasn't like mad at what he said. I just think there comes a point where it's more of a, I don't know, you coming out from it sounds more hate, like
jealousy.
That's what I mean.
I should be richer and I should be more successful.
But he's actually really well off. He has his own company.
And he's funny. Like I've watched.
He has his own comedy. He like pays the tours. There's things he does that people don't know about.
Sure.
That I am preview to.
Yeah.
But that I
told me about.
But so I get where he's coming from. But sometimes I feel like some of it can be more. It's old news, and so who cares?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You're not
going to take Steve Harvey away from me. I love the guy from Family Feud. So you know what? He's a funny guy. Stand alone. Maybe he stole some jokes.
But not even, I don't know. I think every comedian will steal some jokes here and there. It's when you steal it word for word or like everything.
Well, he's apparently stole that story about his dad making him something or other. Oh, man. Got to screw that cat back on. Something.
Static. That's weird.
Shit, this is the beginning of the Sopranos theme song.
Hey. Is it? Crap.
I think it starts with him.
Yeah. I'll just hold it. Just hold me, girl, close. I don't know. Sometimes it's hate. I don't know. But what he said, there's a lot of stuff he said is true. And it was cool because it was just a conversation he was having with
right.
Shannon Sharp.
Right. So,
but who cares?
Anyway, I don't care. Really. At the end of the day.
Yeah. So I do have a question of the week. I will be going to Oregon this week again. So I'll be leaving tonight. At some time, hopefully the roads I've been tracking.
Maybe go earlier in the day.
They're gonna be. It looks like they're gonna be fine. There's no rain or anything in the forecast.
Good.
Yes, last night it snowed a little bit.
Yes.
Not as long as I like. I love the snow.
It is fun to watch the snow come down, especially when you don't have to do anything.
Something pure about just looking out and everything's just kind of.
When there's just a little
everything's
breeze and the
white,
flowing. Yeah.
Fuck that. What about the brown snow? I want some fucking.
Well,
don't eat the brown snow.
Move closer to like some kind of factory, and I'm sure you'll get it. So.
Move to LA.
Yeah.
But let me see. I'm looking for a question. I have two questions. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do this one. So, is there something in your daily routine that you'd probably be better off? Like if you have like this, typical routine, like for me, every night I have to clean the kitchen and I do, there's certain routines I do. And then there's some routines that are healthier than others, I'm sure.
Sure.
Some people every day they need to, shoot up some heroin or something.
Right.
Is there anything in your day that where you're like, I could probably cut that out? I probably don't need to do that, or I don't need to do this. I can replace it with something else. I think mine would be, God, it'd be hard. I love video games. I play them pretty much a daily thing. Like,
is that a bad thing though?
No, that's my wind down. But Alicia brought up a point because we went to Goodwill, similar to you and Blanca's date. You guys went to Target. We went to Goodwill. And looking at books, and I see books, and I seen like a parenting book, and I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, it had really good tips. I was reading through it, and I was like, I should get this. But then I'm like, I'm not going to read. I don't read. And she goes, you rather play games than read. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Why is that bad?
It's not bad, but I should, as a healthy habit, reading's probably a little healthier than playing a video game. But my wind down's video games.
I think that's... as a teacher, look, I'm not shitting on reading. I think reading's important.
Reading's stupid.
But as adults, we read all the time. And I read emails. We read emails. We do read all the time. If that's not your style of entertainment,
no, it's definitely not.
That's not.
But I think to better myself, or get a little more knowledgeable of certain things.
You read different books. You read sex books. Like most females read.
I know.
Sexual novels.
There's a bookmark we see that says, "I don't watch porn. I read it like a fucking lady."
No, but I mean,
it's so great.
You can't really. I mean, we're not talking classical literature here or something that's like really.
But reading in general, it's good to learn.
It's not bad, but you can learn through a lot of different things. If video games makes you a better person, if it lets you calm down, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but I do think there is a thing in your routines in your day.
Yeah, shooting heroin.
I masturbate constantly.
It's like maybe I should cut back on the masturbation.
Is there stuff that's an unhealthy habit that you do that you probably shouldn't be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could say.
I don't know. You can say anything's unhealthy, I guess.
Yeah, it's within limits. I think if I really thought about it, I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I should cut out of my day. I've never read one of those books that's like super highly.
I guess another question is, do you do something? Is your daily routine is it, like I said, a routine? Or is there, could you switch that up? So, you know what I mean?
I will say something that was a routine that I did recently switch up. So we talked recently about alcohol, and you've cut it out completely.
Yeah.
And I was kind of falling back into around holidays, like probably fall leading into the holidays, like back to drinking a drink a night.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. Not horrible. But it was like just one of those things. It was becoming habitual. Every night at a certain time, I got the glass. Sometimes I'd have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things like I asked myself, nah. So I'm kind of back to what you do. I started making tea at night.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Still drinking something, but it's a little bit of a healthier choice. So it's like, switching out one thing for another thing.
So my vice would be I smoke weed, right? I dabble in the marijuana. Sure. So that's probably something I shouldn't probably do and all. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm pro it. But that's one of those things where I shouldn't be doing that. Usually before podcasts, I'll smoke a little bit or do something. Today was not one of those days. But normally, that's probably something in my routine. I should probably.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is you're high every time we do a podcast.
Not every time. No, usually when I first come here, I'm a little bit, but during the podcast, it kind of starts wearing off.
Yeah.
It weeds off. Look at this guy.
Hey, a magical word user.
What's
yeah. Did you write something else?
I did. Oh, this one. I was like, what the fuck did I write? I have terrible writing.
Maybe you should work on your handwriting.
Look at that.
Routine change.
I know. No. And in my drawings?
No, that's
electrical drawings.
That's a schematic.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Schematics.
Of your house.
Coming soon, I did create a video that's a little different than Just Weird Blended. It's me hooking up my PlayStation.
There you go.
Switching out something stupid. I was trying to do something.
Coming directly from Just Weirdly Blended.
And then I'm like, I'm wearing a V-neck, and I hate V-necks. The only reason I wear them is because I bought these shirts for an undershirt.
Oh.
And I didn't realize they were V-necks. I just bought them, right?
Yeah.
And then I see that they're V-necks. I'm like, fuck. I got hair on my chest, so I don't like to, I'm not fucking 70s porn star.
Yeah.
But in the video, I'm like wearing a different hoodie, and it's coming out, and I was like, "Oh shit, my chest hair's all showing." And I'm like, I say during the video,
"So you are a '70s porn star?
You like what you see, ladies?"
Is this our move?
That's what I do to Alicia.
Like, you like that?
It works for me when she does it.
Man.
But why
so
I grab my balls and I'll do that. You like what you
push them together.
I did that. You ever do that move? Have you ever like I was this morning? No, this morning I like stood in front of Alicia when I'm changing, and I
never.
I did that.
Never.
She starts laughing. She goes, "Oh, you're so
never have I ever
like
look like a little kid." Stupid smile on your face.
I did. I do shit like that. Before I wake, you better get some of this.
You want it? It's leaving. Come on.
How sexy is it? Your man with this little gut. I will say, quit drinking though. I noticed, even though my weight's been the same, I noticed my gut went down. I don't know if that's because I think a lot of that actually had to do with me quitting energy drinks. That was another vice I had cut out. That's why I'm like, I drink tea pretty much every day.
Yeah.
I probably drink tea's water, but I drink tea more than water.
But tea, especially if you do caffeine free.
Yeah, I have some
I'll do caffeine frees at night.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water content, and it's really just herbs. I mean, you're doing your body.
I drink a caffeinated tea during the day. It's like my energy drink. It's called Sweet Positive Energy.
Sure.
But no, the one question was, what's something you do differently than anyone else you know?
You guys get 2 questions this week.
Yeah.
Something you do differently than anybody else you know? Like what?
But what would? Yeah, I don't know. That's why.
That's a
like, what do I do different?
That's a really good question. I have no idea.
I don't know what I do. Sometimes I sit down when I pee at night, just because it's easier. I'm not gonna lie. There's times I'll just sit there and I'm just like, fuck. I'll play on my phone. No, at night, midnight. No, that's usually what it is.
What do I do differently?
I don't know what I do differently.
I walk around with a fedora and a putter for a cane. That's
and I become a werewolf. So.
Differently.
Yeah. I did that to the kids last night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Became a werewolf.
Yeah. It's like, guys, you make me become a werewolf. You better shut the fuck up.
I can feel it coming.
I didn't tell my kids to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, what do I do differently than anybody else? I mean, we podcast. That's different than anybody else I actually know in my real life.
This is true. I don't know. I think I do things differently than like a lot of my coworkers, the way I work, I guess.
I will say, is it weird that one of the things we've been most consistent with is doing a podcast?
That is
almost every single week. We've missed a few, but for 2.5 years.
That's crazy.
Maybe not 2.5.
We're on episode, what, like 10?
Of season 6. We're on 110 episodes altogether.
What the fuck? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
We're like the Simpsons. We're never going to end.
Never.
You can stop watching. We're going to keep going.
We're going to predict shit too. May be true, may not be.
Excuse me.
But anyway, well, you guys have a good week.
Yeah.
I think.
Hang in there. If you're in a snow-covered place, drive safe.
Yeah, stay warm. Be safe.
Be safe. Oh, hey, if you're a local area, if you do the energy share thing and you can put extra on your bill to help somebody that doesn't have the funds for energy, maybe do that this winter.
I've tried doing that, and it's weird. Like I tried doing that.
I've never personally done it, but I think it'd be a good thing to do.
I've done the roundup on the Smart Hub.
Yeah, so like a lot of utility companies do it. It's very cold. Real big cold snap coming. So it's to those of us that are struggling for energy security, maybe help them out. Maybe throw some money their way.
I think so.
Help somebody in need. We don't want anybody to freeze out there. So
I know I work in Toppenish, and there's a pretty good size of like natives that are like homeless over there. And I don't know if they're transients, like just passing through sometimes. But me and my buddy went to Safeway, and we're going to walk in this door, and this guy, I don't know if he's trying to do like pills or what he's doing, but you can see he's like moaning and making noise and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, that's like, it was sad to see. And then I was like in the truck with Nick, and I'm looking around. I just see all these homeless people, and it's was it Friday? It was like
very cold,
12 degrees or something.
At a high at most. I mean, yesterday I think we got up to 7.
Yeah, dude, it was freezing. Today's going to be, I think 15, something like that. It's going to get warming up.
We're warming up.
Yeah. But anyway, you guys have a good week.
Anyway, take care of yourselves. We will see you next time.
Boom, boom. I always think you're the first. I forget we changed it. Hey, I'm the guy from Reading Rainbow.